You know, when it comes to birthdays, it feels like there are two kinds of people in the world, right? It's fascinating. So let's get into it because how you feel about your birthday actually says a ton about what's going on inside your head. Okay, so on one side, you've got the grand celebrators. You know who I'm talking about. Their birthday is like a personal holiday. They're planning parties, they're expecting gifts, they're soaking up all that attention. And then you've got the it's a normal day crowd. For them, the day just kind of comes and goes. No big deal. No cake, no party, pretty much nothing to see here. So, what's really going on here? It's not just about why they don't celebrate. It's about what's happening under the surface. Is it sadness? Is it just maturity? Or is there some deeper psychological thing that makes them just not care? All right, so the first big reason, and this one's a heavy hitter, actually takes us back in time, back into our memories. Because for a lot of people, the decision not to celebrate today is really rooted in the pain of the past. This quote really nails it. It gets right to the heart of this deep psychological defense mechanism we all have. The idea is actually pretty simple, but it's powerful. Think about it. When hoping for something leads to disappointment again and again, well, your brain learns to protect itself. And how does it do that? It just stops hoping. Yeah, and in psychology, there's a name for this. It's called learned helplessness. Basically, it's a state you get into after dealing with negative stuff over and over again. You start to feel like you have no control at all. So, to avoid that sting of another letdown, you just stop trying. You stop expecting anything good to happen. And you gotta understand, this doesn't usually happen because of one big thing. It's more like a slow burn, a conditioning over time. Just imagine, maybe you're a kid and your family forgets your birthday, or you're a teenager and your friends don't remember to even text you. Maybe you try to plan a little get together and nobody seems interested. After enough of those little heartbreaks, your mind learns a really tough lesson. It's just safer to not care at all than it is to get your hopes up and be disappointed again. But it's not always about some deep-seated trauma from the past. Sometimes the reason is much, much simpler and more immediate. It's about being totally caught up in the crazy, relentless pace of modern adult life. And this brings us to a really interesting concept called time blindness. Now, this isn't about someone ignoring their birthday on purpose. It's what happens when your brain is just completely overloaded. I'm talking stress, work, a million responsibilities. You get so swamped that you genuinely lose track of time. And what's crucial is you also kind of lose touch with your own emotions. I mean, just think about a typical work day for so many of us, right? It's just a nonstop treadmill of meetings, assignments, deadlines. The workload is insane. And before you even realize it, the day is gone. In that kind of environment, a birthday isn't being ignored. It's just buried under everything else. For people stuck in that cycle, they're not really living life. They're just surviving it. They're just trying to get through the day. Okay, so let's get into our third reason. And this one might be the most profound of all. This isn't about past pain or present pressure. Nope. This is about reaching a whole different level of emotional maturity. It's a major shift towards inner contentment. This really highlights the difference between two totally different sources of happiness. See, a lot of people need that external validation, the parties, the attention, the gifts, to feel good about themselves. But then there's this other group of people, and they find their sense of value internally, from things like personal growth, self-control, and just a real feeling of inner peace. And yeah, there's actually a whole psychological framework for this. It's called self-determination theory. And what it suggests is that real, lasting happiness, it doesn't come from other people praising you. It comes from feeling like you're in control of your own life, from knowing you're growing as a person, and from building that quiet, really powerful sense of inner peace for yourself. And this quote, it just perfectly captures the whole idea. It's such a powerful statement of self worth, right? It basically says, my value isn't tied to some date on a calendar or a big party. A person who thinks this way doesn't need a special event to be reminded that they're important. Why? Because they already feel it every single day. And it's so important to get this. This isn't just about birthdays. It's a whole life philosophy. These are the kinds of people who aren't constantly chasing likes on social media. They're not desperate for attention to feel like they matter. Their happiness comes from the inside, not from what the outside world thinks. So when you put it all together, the past pain, the present pressure, and this idea of inner peace, it really forces us to ask a much bigger question. What does it actually mean to celebrate anyway? And maybe that's the real takeaway here. For the people who don't need that one special day, celebration isn't some once-a-year thing. It's a daily mindset. It's about finding joy and meaning in the little moments and really believing that any day, every day, can be special as long as you choose to see it that way. So, in the end, yeah, whether you throw a huge party or just let the day pass quietly, it says a lot about your own psychology. But the real question, the most important one, isn't about cake or candles. It's about looking inside and asking yourself, where do you truly find your happiness?